Should we try it? Let's go to the room. It looks fun. Stop it, Dany. It hurts, Zimy cried, pushing him away. In the city of Ojondo, nestled among the rolling hills of Enugu State, Nigeria, the Amandi family lived a simple yet lively life. Mr. and Mrs. Amandi were proud parents of 3 children: Sochima, their eldest daughter, who was known for her wit and charm; Dany, their curious and adventurous 8-year-old son; and Ziny, their beautiful little daughter with an infectious laugh that could lit up the darkest days. Mr. Amandi was a businessman, while Mrs. Amandi worked as a civil servant. Their children, like others in the city, spent their holidays playing, learning, and helping with chores. One holiday afternoon, the Amandi children were gathered in their living room. Zimy and Dany were bored. Sochima, tired from her morning errands, lay on the living room sofa, hoping to steal a nap before evening chores. Zimy and Dany, however, had other plans. They chased each other around the room, their giggles piercing through the heavy stillness. "Zimy, Dany, can you two please keep it down?" Sochima groaned, covering her face with a pillow. The siblings ignored her, too engrossed in their game. Sochima, desperate for some peace, reached out for her phone. She decided to let them watch cartoons to keep them occupied. "Here," she said, handing the phone to Dany. "Watch something quietly so I can sleep." The children settled on the mat in a corner of the room, their eyes glued to the small screen. For a while, the house was finally quiet. But after the first cartoon ended, Dany, curious by nature, decided to explore other videos on the phone. As she scrolled, a peculiar thumbnail caught his attention. "What's this?" Zimy asked, leaning closer. "I don't know," Dany replied, his thumb hovering over the screen. "Let's see." The video began to play. At first, it seemed strange, unlike anything they had seen before. The people on the screen were doing things neither child understood. Zimy wrinkled her nose. "Why are they acting like that?" Dany shrugged. "I think it's some kind of play. Adults like weird games." Zimy tilted her head. "Should we try it?" Dany, emboldened by his curiosity, nodded. "Let's go to the room. It looks fun." They tiptoed past Sochima, who was now fast asleep, and shut the door to their shared bedroom. What began as an innocent mimicry quickly turned uncomfortable. "Stop it, Dany. It hurts," Zimy cried, pushing him away. Her cry startled Sochima. She sat up, her heart pounding. "Zimy, Dany, what's going on?" she called out. The children froze, their faces pale. Dany whispered, "Don't tell her." Sochima knocked on their door. "Open up now." When the door creaked open, she found the children sitting on the bed, their expressions a mixture of guilt and fear. But before she could press further, Dany stammered, "Nothing, Sister Sochi. We were just playing." Reluctantly, Sochima let it go, too tired to argue. That night, however, curiosity gnawed at Zimy and Dany. They wanted to understand what they had seen. "Maybe we did it wrong," Zimy whispered as they lay in their bed. "Let's check again," Dany said. Carefully, they tiptoed into Sochima's room. The moonlight streamed through the window, illuminating their faces. They took her phone, turned the brightness low, and found the video again. This time, they watched intently, whispering to each other about what they observed. Night after night, they repeated this ritual, growing more curious and emboldened. One fateful night, as the crickets chirped outside, the city lay in slumber. Mrs. Amandi felt an unusual urge to check on her children. She rose from her bed, and padded softly to their bedroom. When she opened the door, as her eyes immediately caught what her children were watching, her eyes widened in horror. "Zimy, Dany, what are you doing?" The children froze, caught in the act of watching the forbidden video. Mrs. Amandi snatched the phone from their trembling hands. "Where did you find this?" she demanded, her voice shaking. Zimy burst into tears while Dany stared at the floor. We found it on Sochima's phone," he admitted. The commotion woke the entire household. Mr. Amandi and Sochima rushed in, confused and alarmed. When Mrs. Amandi explained what she had discovered, the family was plunged into turmoil. "How could this happen?" Mr. Amandi exclaimed, pacing the room. "These are just children." Sochima, overwhelmed with guilt, apologized profusely. "I didn't know they'd find such a thing. I only gave them my phone so they'd stop disturbing me." Mrs. Amandi shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "We need to fix this before it's too late." The next day, the Amandis sought the advice of a family counselor, Mr. Nkem, someone experienced in helping families navigate such challenges. They explained the situation, leaving nothing out. Mr. Nkem listened patiently, nodding thoughtfully. "Children are like clay," he said. "They take the shape of whatever molds them. What they saw has left an impression, but impressions can be reshaped. You must guide them with love and wisdom." Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Amandi began to devote more time to their little ones, sharing stories and lessons with them. Through their tales, they taught the children about the importance of boundaries, respect, and sacredness of knowledge. Over time, Zimy and Dany began to understand the gravity of their actions. With the counselor's help, they expressed their confusion and fears. Their parents, though deeply hurt, embraced them with compassion, determined to build trust and guide them towards a healthier path. The incident became a turning point for the Amandi family. It sparked open conversation about technology, responsibility, and the importance of vigilance. Sochima too learned a valuable lesson about the power of influence and the need to protect her younger siblings. In the years that followed, Zimy and Dany grew into thoughtful, respectful individuals. They often reflected on that turbulent chapter of their childhood, grateful for the love and guidance that had steered them back on course. This is the end of the story. It's very important to be mindful of how we allow our little ones have access to our phones. Their little minds may just be too young to absorb certain kinds of information. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't fail to share this video with family and friends. And please subscribe to our channel as it helps this channel to grow. Meanwhile, I wish to appreciate all our subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate every one of you. Please tell us in the comment section what part of the world this video has found you in. We would like to know the country you're watching from. Thank you very much once more. Remain blessed in all you do, and until the next video, bye bye.